Welcome into another edition of the Holton Caiden Show. Chris Johnson, Aundrae Allison, and Caiden Norman join the show next. Hope you enjoy the show. If not, as always,
Holton Caiden turns, and Holton will take off and run himself. He's at the 40-yard line. Holton Caiden's to the 30. Look at him go! 20, 10, 5, touchdown Pirates!
There's local politics, bud.
It's showtime!
two of the best to ever do it in the purple and gold. Aundrae Allison, the first 1,000-yard receiver at East Carolina. Chris Johnson, the first and fastest 40 time at the time he ran it at 4.24 at the NFL Combine. Boys, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having us, man.
Yeah, thanks for having us on the show. Looking forward to it.
For sure, man. So, yeah, we just wanted to talk to you guys. Obviously, the state of the program right now, we're really not in a terrible spot, but we are looking, it's a new world of college football, and we're looking for a head coach to kind of lead the charge in that. Chris, you've been pretty vocal, on social media about some guys that, you like and some guys that you played with. I just kind of wanted to give you the floor on that and kind of talk about, some of those guys who you think would be good fits, to lead the program.
Oh, man, yeah, I've been a little vocal on it. I've been sitting back for a while and just checking the program out and things like that. And, just some things that I feel like our organization, our university can use and that will help. And, we got it's three guys that I know off the top of my head. One of those guys is Joe Sloan, who a former Pirate that me and Aundrae both played with. We know he's a smart guy and so proud of him. A lot of things he's been able to do, been sticking around Skip Holtz, learning from him for years and years. A guy that put our university, had it nationally known and putting guys in the league. He sat and learned behind him. That's what Joe Sloan did. Now he's at LSU, doing great over there, offense coordinator. Got him also a guy, Freddie Kitchens, guy that was a head coach in the National Football League, played at Alabama, coached at Alabama. He's currently now at North Carolina. He's a great fit, I think. And then we got a guy in Dow Loggins who he had head coaching role in the NFL. He was with me in Tennessee when I ran for the 2,000 yards. All those guys are smart guys, the guys who I feel like can come in and know how to turn this program around, understand the NIL side of things, and understand what we need to do in order to compete in this league.
You mentioned two names really that a lot of people are talking about, and that's Skip and obviously Joe Sloan. You guys were there with both of them. Aundrae, you were a guy that caught balls maybe during practice some by Joe Sloan. What was your experience with him like, and, have you communicated with him, and, how do you think he would fit that role?
Well, I haven't communicated with him as of recent, but as far as, my experience with him, you can just tell he just soaked up the game. He was always really intelligent, really smart, very punctual. He was very mature at the time. So it's no surprise that he's as successful as he is right now. I do like the fact that he's very offensive driven, offensive minded. And I feel like that's what's needed right now. I'm always going to be pro offense first as a head coach. And then I think, in my opinion, it's easier to plug a really strong quality D coordinator in with that type of coach as opposed to the other way. Because sometimes defensive coaches who are head coaches, they don't like to put up a lot of points. And right now, college football and sports in itself is very exciting. And people want to see a lot of points. So I think he would do a great job because within the last few years, LSU has put up a lot of numbers. They put a lot of pro players in the pros, and they have that type of offense to where it'll be exciting to see.
I'm heavy pro Joe Sloan as well. But I'm also, me and Holton's talked about this a few times, and I'm curious to get both your guys' opinion on this. I'm pro getting a Pirate in here because I think the culture of the program in the last few years, especially the last 2 years, last year going 2-10, and then just how last week felt against Army, not Temple week, but the Army week. It just felt like, Pirate Nation isn't expecting to win the tough games anymore. And I feel like bringing a true Pirate in, maybe like a Joe Sloan. I know Holton's big on Dwayne Ledford. Just curious what you guys think. What do you guys think about bringing the culture back with a true Pirate? Are you guys on that train, or you guys have a different opinion on that?
Well, me, I'm definitely on that train, and not just saying it because I'm a Pirate, but it's two things that I've looked at. So I took my kids to a Clemson football camp, and I also know Georgia kind of follow the same method, right? So when I go to Clemson for the football camp, like guys that worked in the front office, guys that was recruiting, some guys that was on the coaching staff, and all that, like I would say like 70%, 80% of these guys was they're like Dabo Swinney, former players in Georgia. You got all these former players that's helping. So when I'm saying not just the head coach, it's the guys that you bring in that's around you are former players as well. So when you got a guy at the head when you got a guy at the head that's a former player, he understands and he'll bring other guys in around him that understand the Pirate Nation and understand the type of team and organization that we was.
Yeah, no, I 1000% agree with both of you guys, because one thing I do feel like was missing within the last few years, like you said, it's just that cloth, like that texture of like purple and gold is just missing, like to the core. That's why I feel like it's a lot easier for the players to get sort of sidetracked and not really give their all, because they have to be around. It's just easier when we're around. You can relate to that, and you got something to look forward to, and it's like a realization, like, oh wow, these guys did it. They went to the next level, or whatever. They have information. They're just like us, et cetera, et cetera. But as of the last few years, you can kind of feel it's just not as deep purple and gold like we really needed. So someone from the Pirate past really, I would say, should be at the head.
That is something that, okay, now I got there in 2018. I'm from Greenville, obviously grew up watching you guys, and like I probably knew every Pirate player, but when I was playing, my dad was the announcer, so like I literally grew up around the program. When I first got there, like that was the first thing that I noticed. I was like, where are the guys that have played here? Like even in the facility and stuff, there's not many pictures of like NFL guys. And that was like the first thing I noticed. I was like, holy cow, like what happened?
I 1000% agree. Like CJ said, you'll see that a lot when you go to different universities. You're always going to see the players around, and I think that's huge. I mean, that's just with anything, but definitely with sports and football in itself, because a lot of times those the players who we recruit, they're looking for these opportunities to help better their lives and better their family lives, and it's nothing better than having someone around who can relate to them and that they can see that their image in as well. Because when things get tough, nowadays players tend to kind of like shut it down a lot easier. But I feel like we could be there to be the catalyst to help them stay inspired and driven to get to where they're trying to go.
CJ, I'm curious. When Jeff Connors was me and Holton's strength coach our first 2 years here at East Carolina, he always talked, like Holton mentioned, about the guys who came up and always instilled like the past of ECU. What was the culture like for you and Aundrae coming up at ECU? We knew it was hard nosed for the stories, but like what did the ECU culture mean for you guys coming up?
The coach, it meant so much. Hard nosed. We gonna outwork, be in shape, and nobody was gonna come in there and intimidate us at all. Like we was that type of program who we felt disrespected, where we feel like no, we are better than NC State, we are better than UNC, we are better than West Virginia, and all these type of teams. And that's how we practice. That's how we played. That's how we every time we went in the weight room. Coach Golden didn't let us forget that. Our coach Skip Holt. So, like I say, we want somebody that's, a Pirate Nation guy, but at the same time, all those guys that I named, and I've been talking to them lately, I feel like they understand that. They've been in those certain type of programs where they know the type of organization, the type of things that we need to do. So I feel like we got some good candidates.
Yeah, I 1000% agree with that.
One thing that you guys, neither of you probably could have made a ton of money in NIL, but you didn't have the chance to, was NIL. And that's obviously a huge catalyst for this next head coaching job. It's kind of like the first time it's going to be the first NIL head coach that ECU hires, someone that literally, from the day they step in has to manage that. How big of an impact do you think it will be, not just for ECU, but just in college football in general, that like these next head coaches, you can't be just a culture guy anymore. You got to be someone that can, persuade, donors to donate not just to Pirate Club now, but also to NIL and, into the program, but into the players as well.
Yeah, you're right about that. It's funny just because I think North Carolina in itself has, because I'm a North Carolinian, so I know sometimes we're like slow to change, and I feel as if like a new face will help the donors and the powers that be who are actively involved with NIL to feel more secure and safe, and hopefully that individual can like put together a nice strategic plan and a vision that is crystal clear, so that people can feel more comfortable giving money or help generate money and things like that. And then also I feel the new face definitely should lean heavily on the former players, because we've been able to take our opportunity from East Carolina and go and create different experiences, build different relationships to where we can contribute in many ways. Like an example that CJ gave when we was there for homecoming is like, putting together a homecoming event to where, all the former players that played in the pros could, do autographs or things like that, auctions and things like that to generate dollars for the NIL. So I just hopeful someone can come with a strong vision and a new way of doing things that can be very creative, because those major universities are super creative in how they make money for the NIL. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
That's something that's also huge that some teams don't have, the luckiness of guys like you guys saying, look, we're here to help. We are here to help in any way we can. We're here. We want to see each other win. Chris, what are your thoughts on like the NIL world and, your willingness to help as well?
It's something, I love it. You know what I'm saying? It's something I've been felt like college players should be getting paid. But so now it's put us in a situation where it's like, is you gonna come on board with it? You gonna that's the new wave right now. So like, if you want to win, I know we're talking about the coach and things like that. But if you want to win, you have to get the right players in there. And things have turned to like these players, like they're not coming in saying, how many times you gonna throw me the ball? Or what type of offense you run? Or who is my offensive coordinator? These guys come in like, how much money you gonna give me?
Yep.
So if you're not coming in there and not understanding, like, I have to come in here and get this program, and I have to get the right people around as far as to raise money and get the money to offer these kids, then I don't care who they put in there. Because if you're not paying these kids what they want to pay, guess what? They're going to go to the street to UNC, or they're going to go to NC State, or any of these other schools that's going to offer them more money, because at this point, it's a bidding war. It's a bidding war at this point. So that's really what we have to get to with it. But I like that we are being able to get paid and things like that. But once we get the right guy in here that knows how to do it and knows how to raise that money, I think we'll be all right.
That's a great point. And I liked what Andre said a minute ago. Some of these big schools are so creative with the ways they're making money. I know me and Holton talked about with Clip on the fifth quarter this past week around, I think USC letting fans pay to run out with the crowd with the team, which is super interesting.
Oh, that's crazy.
Have you seen that, Andre?
No, that's nuts. Oh man,
Anna, that's crazy, bro. Like, what?
Yes, funny story. We were watching it, and it was USC Penn State, and a Penn State fan paid the $1,500 to run out with USC, but he's in the Penn State gear with the USC team running out in the field. It was.
I love that. That's
absolutely hilarious.
Yeah, that's dope. But that's how it is, bro. You got to find certain ways and certain little tactics and certain things to do to raise that money. It could be anything. Like, it's just finding a way.
Yeah,
exactly.
And to last point on that, it's like, I think by us being former athletes and now we're businessmen, and then if you think about like how the old way of doing business is, it's kind of like the changing of the guard. Like, I know owning this business, this wellness business, it's like we have to be embracing every single aspect of business, every single marketing, every single thing. Like I can't not do TikTok. I can't not do this just because I'm set in my ways. And that's what I'm saying as far as the former players, we're more like connected to both worlds. Like the old guard, I understand like the structure of established businesses, and then I understand like the creativity in the new business to where you're really throwing stuff at the wall hoping it sticks. But you have to do that. So hopefully, we can get in there and do our thing and contribute in the best way.
Yeah, curious off of that. I love that analogy you said. Like you got to make sure you're being innovative and not doing things the old ways. What are some ways you guys see ECU maybe not doing today, but we could be innovative in the NIL process or just the process with former alumni getting involved as well?
Well, honestly, with me, I'm not sure exactly what all they're doing, but just some things that, me and Dre have talked about and things like that that possibly could be done is like one of the situations we feel like we got enough former NFL players that came through there. We could do a camp. We could do a youth camp, and all the money that we raised from that, we just donate it back to the school, and to the collectives or whatever it is, and that will help with NIL. Another thing, alumni weekend. I know they do a Letterman's weekend or something like that, and that's for all sports. But like just for football in general, you do a alumni weekend. It don't even have to be homecoming. But you do alumni weekend, you get these same former NFL players that came through ECU to come back, and you either do a dinner, you do a signing, or something like that. And the money that you raise throughout these programs, that is money to help go back to the program so we can afford the type of players that we want.
Yeah. Yep. We talked about that, man. Chris talked about that a lot. And something that I would contribute, I think, would be East Carolina. I feel like if we need to make it a little bit easier for former players to have access to facilities, platforms, like being more involved with the recruiting process, leveraging that. Because like we could be scouts or we can be, the spokesperson for the coach that they might be recruiting in another area. We could go to another area and lean on, our play from back in the day or our experience from back in the day to talk to some of the best players that is there in the bidding war to see if they're going to pick NC State or East Carolina. So things like that, and like just being more on the field, like during the game, like, we're on the sideline and, the players know who played in the league. You can just tell by how they look or what we're wearing or, players that have on diamonds. That's inspiring. Like, and it's not nothing to frown upon because when we were playing, that's what we wanted to see. And you got players like, all the major universities right now, they are big at making sure those players are on the sideline. Because if I see Chris Johnson on the sideline and he has his 2K chain on, I'm like, okay, I got to get one of those. Like, I'm about to go and ball my ass off. It's like you got to make it easy accessibility for the players too, former players.
Those are all great ideas. Honestly, being from Greenville too, like I'll go ahead. I can get on the camp thing right now, Chris. And then like I do think like a dinner even where fans can pay and just like spend time hanging out with former players. That's an easy one as well. And then the recruiting thing, Andre, as well. Like I remember, I'm like I said, grew up watching you guys and like some other guys like Shane Carden was like when I was like getting recruited was the guy, the quarterback here. And I remember like even just seeing him on the sideline, like when I was playing, I'd be like, dang, that's cool. Like I thought that was really cool. Just pushing former players and like having relationships with former players too. Like it's crazy. Like I played here 5 years and really have never met you guys until then. It's like, why don't we have a program to introduce current players and former players and build a platform? So then now that I'm a former player, why can't I go meet these other guys and just continue to build a bridge, of these, current and former players and just continue a cycle through it?
Right. You're right. Because just as much as they want to win while they're in it, and the players that's on the team, we want to win just as bad because this is the school we went to. This is our alma mater, and like we want to see them at the top level as well. Like we have our friends out here that played at other colleges, and bragging rights and things like that. So we're proud of our university, but we want our university to be on the top. So we want to win just as bad as everybody else.
Yeah, I agree. I agree 100% with Chris. Like, could you imagine if you were a recruit and Chris Johnson DM'd you? Hey, I heard you're looking at ECU. ECU's your top 3. ECU's your top 5. Holy cow! I would have freaked out as a high schooler. Or, hey, ESPN's on. You see, Chris Johnson on the sidelines. Like, everyone's like, let's go. Like, people like that. I love that idea by both of you guys. Andre, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I love both those ideas.
Oh, no. I mean, you hit it on the head. I mean, and it's like, that's not like a new marketing ploy. Like, that's very old. Like, people always have, like, leaned on either celebrity or known face. You see it all the time in marketing. Like, Snoop Dogg is on a T-Mobile commercial. You know, like, what I'm saying? It's just like, we're making it more complicated, I think. And the thing that could change it is if, like, we talk about more players coming back and being involved, we would have, like, the opportunity to present a different perspective, And I dealt with that experience, like, being on the board, like, in my hometown YMCA. I'm presenting new ideas, and I'm just being very, like, aware of how they are stuck in their ways of doing things. I'm just like, no, this is where it's going. Like, so now, like, at this point, and I feel like our school, they are taking the right steps. I'm not gonna lie. Like, it's going in the right direction, because in the past, a lot of players wouldn't even, be concerned or even, talking about this kind of stuff. But this is a big topic of discussion amongst a lot of the former players.
Right. Yeah, and I don't want them to think we're bashing them, because me and Andre, we talked to the AD a lot this weekend, and he's on the same page. That is, like, is that the crazy thing is everything that me and Dre talked about before we got up there this weekend, and once we got there, he was already 10 steps ahead of us. He was on the same thing that we was talking about. So that's why we all really believe that whatever guy that we get in there, he got to be on the same page, and he has to have knowledge of it.
Yeah, it's nothing about, like, saying, like, we're doing it the wrong way. It's just, like, I guess former players could be, like, the one, like, missing piece in a way is kind of what we're saying.
Yeah, it's like a mesh of ideas. Like, we all come from different backgrounds. We all live in different communities today, but we all love East Carolina. We all have our own world experiences. So coming together, maybe on a Zoom meeting or, coming together once a year and just presenting alumni ideas for the football program, that doesn't hurt the football program. It only makes it better. And you can vote on these ideas and just have better ideas for our program. Like you said, Andre, these aren't new ideas. It's just things I think people just overlooked and just totally just haven't done at East Carolina, or a lot of G5 programs, a matter of that.
Oh, yeah, especially man running out in the field. That's nuts.
Right.
I can't even imagine our school okaying that. They're like, they probably, I don't know what they will be thinking, like, what the person can get injured or something. Like, it's like,
right.
You want to do those kind of things. This is the time we live in, the day and age to where that kind of stuff is okay to do. There's really no rules right now. So you got to take advantage of that, especially while it's not heavily regulated like it probably will be in 2030. They're going to cut down on a lot of things. So right now it's like, and those big schools that's their approach. You can tell they're like, okay, there's nobody to really put these kind of restrictions on what we can do. Let's just go for it. And they're winning.
I think it's so easy. College athletics in general, and you guys probably know this more than anyone, like the NCAA and people who are in it for years and years and years, it's so easy to get comfortable. And right now it's like the universities and the schools that get comfortable during the NIL process are going to get left behind. This is the time to be creative, to come up with crazy ideas and just try them out. Kind of like you said, Andre, just throw it against the wall, and if one sticks and it brings you $100,000 NIL, then just keep doing it.
Yeah. I think how Colorado did it, their backs was against the wall.
Right.
Deion came in there, and businesses change like that. Like sometimes you gotta, you got to like use the fact that things are going against you and you're not being favored in a way, and you could just accept and go with whatever is new to get you going in the right direction. I feel like Colorado was the best example of that. Like, they didn't have nothing to lose. They let Deion come, gave him the microphone, and look at where they are now. It's like Louis Vuitton recruiting letters.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
It
You know,
is. Yeah, no, I love Deion, what he's doing over there. Question for you guys, going back to the coaching search. Let's say Blake Harrell wins out the season. Good chance he could. Let's just say he does. Are you guys in favor of keeping, or are you in favor of going for a new coach still?
See, with me, I just feel like, and nothing against anybody, but for me, I always was a guy, whether it's NFL, college, NFL, college, or high school. If we get rid of a guy, if we get rid of the head guy, I always feel it's just better for the team as a whole to bring in a whole new guy to kind of, change the culture. And not saying Blake can't come in there and do what we need him to do and change it around, because sometimes you might have a head coach and he might not give the assistant coaches any leeway to this and that. And now Blake is in and he's able to, do it his way or do it how he want to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody's situation is different. You know what I'm saying? So, but I don't know Blake. Blake didn't coach me. I haven't been around him. So that's why I say when I talk about the other guys, I know more about these guys. So if Blake was to get it, I'd be happy for him and congratulations to him.
100%. And shoot, if he does get it, it's because he won a lot of games the rest of the year. So,
right.
True. I mean, but you would also have to consider like strategy again. It goes back to strategy and marketing. Like, I feel like you can generate more excitement going into the off season and use that as a leverage play to kind of like bring in those type of recruits. You know what I'm saying? Because only thing you're doing is it's kind of like what the NFL does every year. They have drafts and they bring in new players so the fans can get excited and buy tickets, et cetera, et cetera. It's like, that's how I look at that situation. You bring in a new person, boom, let's put this marketing plan behind this person, get everybody excited. Then you can start putting things in order on a strategy level to start like going and attacking that NIL to generate revenue. Not saying that the intern coach can't do that. I'm just saying, like, the new thing is that's where we are in the world. Like, anything new, people get behind. I see it every day. So hopefully he does get the opportunity. Like CJ said, I would definitely be happy for him. But then if a new person can come in, I think that would be a great way to create some momentum going into next year.
I will say that the NFL has mastered the offseason and keeping people excited. And I think that was a key point that you just made, Andre, is like, and I being around here too, I don't know if y'all heard this, elsewhere, but living in Greenville, like, that is one of the reasons why Coach Houston got fired. And Caiden, we know this. I told you the week before he got fired that some of the donors in the collective, look, you got to create excitement to have money to be ready to give to the December transfer portal guys. And if you don't have excitement around the program, the donors aren't going to give money. And how do you create excitement if the program's not winning? You got to get a new guy. People get excited about a new coach. That's what we're sitting here talking about right now for 20 minutes. And that's what all social media is about right now. And push comes to shove, they fire the coach to create excitement, to bring in more NIL money with a new guy ahead of the December transfer portal window.
No, you're right. That's a great strategy to me. I mean, if our program is serious about winning and competing at a high level, you almost have to go. It's like you're being forced to go in that direction.
Yeah, it's like especially when you fire at that point in time of the season, you're kind of forced to go in that direction because say okay, we say we're gonna keep Blake, right? Does that bring excitement? Does that excite recruiters? Does that excite the donors? Because they might look at it like, this guy was already within the organization and we didn't win then, so is that gonna bring excitement?
100%. Great question, Caiden.
I love that. I know we're almost out of time. I'm a big hypothetical guy. I want to ask you both hypothetical. Let's say you're given the reins to do whatever you want to create some sort of excitement at ECU, recruiting wise,
Ooh.
or alumni wise, what would you guys do? One thing, you have unlimited reign of whatever you guys want to do.
For me, you go ahead, bro.
Go ahead. You can go ahead.
Okay. So for me, what I would do, what I would do, as far as the help excitement around the organization and thing like that, I would kind of take the Deion Sanders approach, where I got this whole media team that's recording everything that they do when it comes to off-season moves, when it comes to the head coach coming in, when it comes to the off-season workouts, how good everything is looking, and those type of things, and just continue to push that out on all the socials, whether it's Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. That's one thing Deion did. Every time that you looked on social media or somewhere in the media, you always seen something about Colorado football. Mm-hmm. Or even when he was at Jackson State, you always seen something about Jackson State. So if I was able to get free range, I would have a personal media team, and it could be students that go to ECU that's in that field, but you would have a personal team just for football, and they record every single thing we do, and just continue to push that out to all the socials. And I think that will bring the excitement. That will bring all the things that we need.
Yeah, 1,000%. I agree with that. That's a great approach.
That
You're
is.
right, that's like behind the scenes.
Right.
I think my thing would be, just because I love fashion and things like that, I would get rid of Adidas. You got to go Nike. Like,
you got to go Nike.
And I don't understand, like, how that conversation cannot be had without, like, someone feeling away. I'm not taking anything from the Adidas brand. We're talking about competing with University of North Carolina. That's a Jordan brand team, right? So, and then, like, who are you recruiting? You trying to go at the 4-star, or, whatever these type players, they're going to be worried about how they look on the field, because that's a part of our coaching, how we come up. So it's like, okay, how am I going to look with this ECU uniform on? How am I going to make this look like this to want to post these pictures, or, compare myself to my friend that went to, Clemson University. Right. I think that Nike check is really big, and CJ can vouch for that. Like, when Coach Host was there, my junior sophomore year, we told Coach Host,
we had the same situation.
We told him, we was like, Coach, we're Adidas. We got to go Nike. The next year, we was Nike. Like, it changed everything.
Right.
I mean, I
hated Adidas.
Yeah,
I'm with you guys. I hated the 3 stripes. I was like, why are we not wearing Nike?
Yeah, we were Adidas all the way through my playing time, and I grew up watching y'all play in Nike, and then when I got there, we're in Adidas, and I'm like, bro, what are we doing here? What's going on?
People be scared to say it. Like, why are you scared to say it? It is what it is. It's not a bad thing about the brand.
And that's something recruits notice too. Like you said, I mean, if you're comparing schools, you compare everything. And then, Chris, your thought is like, it's almost like a Hard Knock style thing. People love behind the scenes videos. People love to see what's going on behind the scenes. Also, if you have a coach who is charismatic, if you have assistant coaches who's charismatic, you want to show them behind the scenes too, because it just helps with recruiting. That's not just NIL. It helps in every aspect of things.
Yeah, right. It humanizes that position, because sometimes that position can be, it's like you scared to approach them, like they're very presidential and like they're uptight or whatever. Like, and I feel like with Coach Saban leaving and Coach K leaving, like that new person that came in, it's like he's approachable. He's like young looking. He's like a fresh, like JJ Redick on the Lakers. Like, this is somebody you can come up to, and people want that, because the celebrity thing has been kind of like, the lines have been blurred. You no longer have to be like Hollywood star Denzel Washington to be a celebrity. You could be an Instagram influencer, so that's where we are with it. That's what the behind the scenes would do that CJ was talking about.
Boys, I know I said we wouldn't keep you 30 minutes. I think we're at 34, so appreciate y'all joining. We'll definitely get y'all back on soon. And then let's talk, I'll shoot y'all a text about getting some of those stuff lined up about the NIL stuff, because that's great ideas.
Oh, for sure. Definitely. Appreciate
and let's get an alumni group together, mesh all these thoughts together. I love that idea, guys.
For sure.
Right.
For sure. See y'all. I'll text you soon.
See you.
Have a good one.
Appreciate you.
This podcast is brought to you by Anson Belts. Over 10,000 combinations of micro-adjustable holeless belts. Make sure you go to AnsonBelt.com. Jolly Roger, official game day belt of ECU. Caden, what's your favorite thing about Anson Belts?
I love what your dad's tweet was this week. It's the greatest belt out there. Always fits and the greatest designs.
Did you retweet the tweet?
I liked it.
Loser, bro. Come on. Next, Clean Eats. Most of their meals are under $8. They got pre-made meals, frozen meals, smoothies, or made-to-order meals. Make sure you go check out Clean Eats. Last but not least, Kairos Float and Wellness Studio, 2800 East 10th Street. They got float tank, sauna, cold plunge, salt halo therapy. Caden, we're big fans of them.
Yeah, and I found out you do it by yourself, and it feels
or
great.
Or with a spouse, but not with a buddy.
Not with a buddy. But you feel great afterwards, and you just feel rejuvenated.
Rejuvenated. There we go. What an interview with two all-timers, obviously Aundrae Allison and Chris Johnson. They had a lot of cool ideas. What was your favorite?
I think I always wondered, like, when we were coming through, like, why were there never other, like, former Pirates, especially the big names? Like, I don't think we ever saw Chris Johnson.
That was the first time meeting him. I mean, I'm sure I've stumbled upon him, but, like, we've never had a conversation like that before. It's crazy that he wanted to have those and just never did.
Exactly. All the big names we just never saw, and it's like, why? Do they not want to be here? And it turns out they actually wanted to be there whole time. I don't know what, and maybe past administrations just haven't got them involved. And I loved every idea. It's just, a lot of those ideas were simple. It's just getting the alumni involved. And I think that's super important here, especially with the new age of NIL. It's just, like Aundrae said, it's an open, free world of just do whatever you want until there's regulations. Let's take advantage of it.
You can tell Aundrae's a business guy, and same with Chris, really. Is a business guy, because they were like, just throw stuff at the wall and see what sticks. This is literally the time to be creative, do what you want. And we talked about, like, the relationship of former players with the program now. Like, a lot of people, a lot of fans will probably watch this and be like, well, that's the head coach's job. The head coach has a million jobs to do. Now, is that one of them? Yes. But it's more about the people around the program, whether that's administration or alumni relations. Like, there's a lot of other people that can make that relationship a whole lot better.
Yeah, I agree. And I think it's a lot of these, not only big alumni, I would myself as well. I wouldn't call myself a big football alumni like you three are, but like guys want to be involved. They want to help their university, especially just be successful. Let's make the barrier to entry a lot easier. Let's bring in what Aundrae said. Like, we all come from different backgrounds. We all have different ideas. Let's get like a Zoom call. I know everyone lives across the country now, but like, let's think of these ideas. Let's throw them at the wall. Let's see what people like. Let's vote on them. Let's just be a melting pot of ideas, and hopefully something sticks and we just see stuff work, or we see things don't work, but let's get the guys involved.
Well, let's also not just be involved, but like also just come together like once a year would be cool too. Like, we were talking off air, and it's like, wow, it'd be cool to see guys from different generations and meet guys from different generations. There's a lot of guys that are business guys there. Me and you both are kind of business guys now. They are too. Like, you can spit even just life, events to these guys. If we got together once a year, and like Chris had a really good idea, which we're going to kind of get moving on, was like having like a dinner / like ball type thing where fans can go to it and pay tickets to go to it to meet all these guys and just have a live band and have all sorts of stuff, and all that money just go to Team Boneyard. Like, why not do that? Because for one, it'd be awesome for the fans. It'd be awesome for NIL. It'd be cool for us too, just to see each other once a year and just be like, hey man, come this. This is the weekend you got to come. This is when every single alumni from every single ECU team in the past is coming to be at this one event. Just make sure we're there.
Yeah, I think another call out there is like, people are begging for the fans to just give money to Team Boneyard day after day after day, game after game, week after week. And it's like, let's give people a reason to donate to Team Boneyard. Not only to see the guys win and get good recruits, but also they get something out of it as well. Like, could you imagine getting a chance to go have dinner with David Garrard, Chris Johnson, Holton Ahlers, and even though we always see him around town anyways. But like, that gives people a reason not only to donate, but also get something out of it themselves, an experience, and just build this community of just having like a party, almost like an auction of like maybe a Chris Johnson helmet or whoever helmets and stuff, and really getting people involved with it would just be an awesome aspect. I like their ideas. I also like the camp aspect.
Yeah, I'm going to get working on that too, because obviously I had my own camp for a few years, so I can get working on that ASAP too. We're going to get working on both of those. We can freaking host them if we need to, so we'll get working on that. I was just texting with them, so we're going to get moving on that as well.
Yeah, it's just like Aundrae said, it's basic ideas. These aren't new ideas. It's just getting creative, finding different ways, not just asking for a handout, but getting creative with the money and figuring out ways to get money. Let's get the run out. I know we talked about it the past week. Let's pay to run out. I know a lot of Eastern North Carolina kids would love to do it. I bet a lot of college kids or even just parents would love to do it if the price is right as well.
That's probably why administration is saying no, because you just said college kids, and they're like, absolutely not. We're not letting them do
Hey, I don't care.
Money talks.
If you want to pay and do it, I don't care how old you are and how crazy you want to be when you do it, as long as you're not being nude or any profanity. Let everyone run out. Let them all be crazy with the players as well.
Bring the juice, man.
Bring the juice.
And I also like the idea of unlimited access. People love the Hard Knocks thing too, and I've said this before. The first team, and Deion's kind of doing it, and Chris was right, Deion's kind of doing it a little bit now, but like the first team that does and I know there's actually a few teams doing it now, but the teams that do a unlimited access Hard Knock style thing with all of the revenue going towards NIL, you know how many fan bases would pay $10 a month to watch that, or pay $100 to watch a season of that? Dude, that'd be freaking awesome. And think about it as a player too. You can go back 10 years from now and watch unlimited access of your college football season. Like, that'd have been freaking awesome.
No, that would have been pretty sweet just to see some of the jokes or see what they capture in the locker
And the
room.
hard times too.
I honestly wanted to ask, Chris, who was he referenced Deion a lot, and I'm a huge Deion fan. Always bet in Colorado when I can. Who's his Deion type coach? I know he.
Him.
I know he mentioned.
He's like, I'm the guy.
No, I know he mentioned Joe Sloan, but I saw on a couple of the forums that one, or a tweet, someone said Snoop Dogg. But I was just curious, in his hypothetical land, did he have any Deion like figures that he would like? Let's pull the trigger on him.
Well, next time, just don't be as nervous, man. You can ask him actually if you want.
Hey,
to.
When you're talking to the only guy that put up 2,500 yards in NFL history, you kind of get nervous.
Respect. But I'm really excited about, honestly, just to have those guys on. They're legends for one, but then like the ideas too, like the willingness to help. And I told you this after this weekend. I didn't really get a chance to see them. I kind of bumped into them for a second, but I got put in a group chat with them, and they were like, "Look, Holton, these guys want to help. You're the local guy. Can you like spearhead this and get together?" And then I told them, I texted them this morning. I was like, "Dude, let's jump on the pod, just talk about it." Because the more vocal we are about it, the more public we are about it, the more chances of it is to happen when it comes to NIL and stuff. So it's very exciting if you're an ECU fan that you have alumni, not just the big NFL stars. Like, I wasn't an NFL star, you weren't an NFL star, but like you have alumni who are willing to help in the NIL and do everything they possibly can to see ECU win. Now, look, we're not going to give $1 million, they might, but we're willing to also get creative to get everyone involved and not just one single person, but let's get a whole group of people involved in this.
No, I 100% agree, and I wish I knew Saturday they wanted to come in. We could have done it in person. I saw Chris at the tailgate, and I didn't say anything to him or Andre. I was a little nervous, so I'll be honest. I don't get nervous a lot, but I was just like, I don't know about that one.
Yeah.
But I'll hold you accountable on this one. You didn't call him out. You didn't drill down on Dwayne Ledford on him. You just let him say Joe Sloan.
They weren't with Dwayne Ledford.
I know, but you could have got their opinion.
Yeah, but they didn't know. Like, I wasn't. This was more about like overall.
No, I
picture.
get it. But me and Clip Brock said Joe Sloan. I got grilled on why Joe Sloan maybe not ready yet, and Dwayne Ledford is the guy.
I didn't know. I've never said that Joe Sloan's not the guy. I've said it worries me. I love that he's a quarterback guy. I love all. It just worries me that he's at LSU where it's unlimited everything. That's my biggest worry. But I wanted to ask them who know him what their opinion is on him, and like someone, this for a fact, like. We had teammates who you'd be like, he could be a coach one day. Mm-hmm. He'd be a really good coach one day. And that's what I wanted to hear from them was like, was he like that? And it sounded like he was.
Yeah, I agree. I just wanted you to throw out your opinion on Dwayne Ledford. You fired all of us up.
They probably don't know him, so that's why I'm not trying to convince them. I just want to get their opinion on the guys they do know.
Yeah, I get that. Football world's small, though.
No, it is 100%. All right, so this next segment, fans have really enjoyed this segment. It's a big segment for us, but before we get to that, I want to give a shout-out to Worth Chiropractic. 2 convenient locations on Arlington Boulevard. 1-800-BACK-DOC, normal back and neck pain. Or if you're a former athlete like Kate and myself, now in the real world, we got bad backs. We call 1-800-BACK-DOC, go to Worth Chiropractic, and get everything and get back to being you. Next, I want to give a shout-out to Wayne Hardy Law, 1-800-INJURE, personal injury lawyer. If you've been in a car accident, call 1-800-INJURE. Big Wayne and his team will treat you like family. That's the Wayne Hardy difference. And last but not least, Caden's a fan of Madam Mesquite Goose Club. Classy, country, everything in between. Even got college stuff now. We're big fans of them. Appreciate you for supporting the show. The fan segment. This guy is a super fan of some sort. He kind of got his little fame this weekend as well. So we're going to pop up Zach's picture on the board. So Zach made this sign, or he's going to give shout out to who actually painted it, but it was his idea to make this sign. Harold Baker, Burn the Boats 2024. Caiden, welcome in, ECU superfan / pirate radio intern / something else we're going to talk about in a second. Welcome, Zach Lewis, to the show.
Thank you.
Let's go. Welcome in, brother. So you've been in pirate radio before, clearly, but how do you like the set? And obviously seeing Chris and Aundrae, how do you think it was?
It's so cool being here. I mean, I watched this studio get built when I first got here. I was excited to see what we would do, and then getting Chris Johnson on here. I mean, ever since I was at high school, middle school, talking about I'm an ECU fan, all my friends were like, "Why are you an ECU fan?" I'm like, you know who Chris Johnson is?
Yeah, that guy.
ECU. So that's cool.
Let's go.
I gotta ask on that hypothetical, Chris and Aundrae. Did you have a hypothetical you were thinking about?
I don't know. I would the Wake Carroll hypothetical of him winning all the games.
Yeah,
I've talked about it with my friends plenty. I'm like, I would love to see him go 4-1 minimum. I think is the minimum for him to stay.
Yep.
Or 5-0 with the Navy, who's going to spiral out of control now, in my opinion. Whatever. I would love to see him stay though.
Okay, I thought that too, but Chris made a good point. Aundrae made a good point. It's all about excitement. How can you create excitement? I love Blake Harrell. You love Blake Harrell. I think we've mentioned it so many times. But what's going to drive the excitement? I think a 9-4 season potentially could.
9-4. It better drive incitement. What else do they want?
Hey, they want it all. That's what they want. But you mentioned, I want to go back to what you just said. Where did you grow up and how did you become an ECU fan? Was it off Chris Johnson?
It was not off of Chris Johnson. My mom went here.
Okay.
And my dad met her here, so they're from Greenville pretty much. We're from just outside Charlotte, Gaston County area. And I started going to games in 2008. I went to every home game that was on a Saturday. Since then, I missed one.
Did your parents happen to meet at Pantana Bob's?
They met at whatever the old country bar was.
The elbow room, maybe?
They met on AOL Messenger and then at the country bar.
I love it.
Hey, your parents met like
first dating apps.
On the first dating apps. That's pretty cool.
I was about to say, that sounds like New World Tinder. Was that what that was? I guess?
I guess. AOL.
Heck yeah, man. So Zach also, Caiden had a really... Caiden, you're like kind of famous now, man. Your Rudy scene really took off. I guess I was part of it, but I was like the janitor that was mad at you and stuff. Like, how's it feel now you're kind of famous?
Well, I think the skits have taken off a little bit. We've had some good ones, but Rudy was definitely the biggest one.
And we thought it was going to be a dud.
We really did. We were at 20 minutes, and Holton's texted me like, hey, it's time for bed specs. What do you have this week? And I was like, dude, I don't know what we have.
So I called you and said, meet me at the stadium. We got this. And Zach actually filmed it for us. So Zach was the cameraman for Rudy. Caiden, give him a round of applause. Let's go.
He was good. He had to deal with us going back and forth with each other. So Zach is slowly coming into the Holton Ahlers show realm as well. So you're going to start seeing him maybe behind the camera a little bit more, but definitely, or no, in front of the camera a little bit more, but definitely behind the camera as well, especially with best bets. That's a big one for us. So Zach, are you excited for the best bets? You got to come with the ideas. I told you from the beginning. I said, we're open to ideas. We just want to push the envelope.
Yeah, I'm super excited for anything I can put out there. I'm going to start brainstorming for sure.
Let's
Best
go.
bets are always fun. I'm going to try to find some scenes.
And I will tell you, when we were leaving Rudy, we told him, we said, look, if you're good enough, the boys got a really good betting record right now, but if you send me your bets for the weekend, I will think about adding you to the next week's bets. Zach sends me his bets. He goes 4-1 too. So the boys were balling.
I got to ask. Were you like all of them? Everyone took at least 2 of Caiden's picks.
Caiden, I had 5. I did not take
everyone put at least 2 of Caiden's picks and put it in their own betting records.
I don't think so.
Jack took 2 of mine. I know Jack has his own stories there. We'll let him slide.
I think the only one I copied off you was Colorado.
That's okay. I didn't take Colorado this week. I took that.
I don't know if I copied you at all.
You might have. I respect you on that one.
Caiden's cocky because he's in second place of the betting record. So congrats, man.
The least amount of losses.
Yeah,
maybe one, at least
2 4-0 weeks. No
more.
one's had 2 4-0 weeks.
Anyway, Zach, anything you want to say just to the Holton Ahlers Show fan base, anything like that for ECU for the future basketball season come up, whatever you want. This fan segment for like the next 2 minutes is your platform.
Well, it's going to be a super exciting rest of the football season. New opportunities, new beginnings pretty much. It clearly started off really fun, so it's going to stay that way, I hope. Keep supporting the team. People wanted Houston out in some ways. I need those people to show up to the stadium. Clearly, there was not that many people there. I think it was only 34,000. That's a little weak. I mean, I've seen less in the Scotty Moe era, but we need more than 34, especially in the NIL era. You got to show out and show people why they should come here. Basketball season's coming up a week from today. I'm super thrilled for that.
Me and Caden are huge college basketball fans.
Basketball is great. You got to come to basketball. ECU basketball, we might not be the best. It's still college basketball. It's still fun. Come support the Pirates. Be a fan if you're here. I mean, why not?
Let's go. 100%. Caden, you got anything else before we cut off?
Zach, you're on Pirate Radio some days. Last week I saw you and you were running Shirley's gig.
Yeah.
Do you do that once a week or?
I'm there. I'm on Pirate Radio Live Tuesday, Thursdays. On Tuesdays specifically, though, I'm pretty much run the audio and production side because Shirley wants a break and we have extra interns ready. But usually it's just the video side.
So if you like Zach's voice, like I do right now, go listen Tuesdays and Thursdays, and you'll hear more of Zach.
You're just pushing because you're on Thursdays.
I am on Thursdays, so I just plugged myself and Zach.
All right. Appreciate everyone for joining. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you next week.